Hey guys, AJ here back with another one for you. So guys, here we have an article, right? And it looks like there's actually some lawmakers in the US that are trying to put an end to no-fault divorce. Now guys, I don't think that this will ever happen, but it is nice to see that there's some people out there trying to make some damn sense out of the world, right? So guys, we'll get into this. But before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, because it really helps keep this channel going, guys. If you're watching on Crumble, head over to my YouTube. If you're on YouTube, guys, check out my second channel linked in the description and the playlist at the end. And guys, look at this. Look at this, right? Look at that. Okay, so Republicans in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas have discussed eliminating or restricting such cases. So they're trying to put an end to no-fault divorce. Some prominent conservative lawmakers and commentators are advocating for ending no-fault divorce. Laws that exist in all 50 states and allow a person to end a marriage without having to prove that a spouse did something wrong, like commit adultery and DV. Look at that, guys. All 50 states. Right? So the socially conservative and often religious right-wing opponents of such divorce laws are arguing that the practice deprives people, mostly men, of due process and hurt families and, by extension, society. And guys, let's give these guys a round of applause, because that's totally true. Right? It's crazy, guys, because you know for a fact that if it was men leaving marriages en masse, right? Or if it was women that were initiating marriage, and men leaving marriages, they would try and do the same thing. These feminists, they would try and get rid of no-fault divorce. You know? Okay. So Republican lawmakers in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Texas have discussed eliminating or increasing restrictions. Have discussed eliminating or increasing the restrictions on no-fault marriage laws. So defenders of the laws, which states started passing a half a century ago, see legislation and arguments to repeal them as the latest effort to restrict women's rights following the overturning of Roe v. Wade and passage of a baby deletion bans across the country, and say that without such protections, so the country would return to an earlier era when women were often trapped in abusive marriages. Clown world. Clown world, right? Look at that. Guys, what does no-fault divorce and baby deletion have to do with each other? These feminists are always reaching, guys. And isn't it funny how they always go to abuse, right? And guys, if marriages were so full of DV and men were so bad, you wouldn't see so many women trying to pressure men into marriage. How many times have you seen a guy, he's with the chick, and they're having a regular type of relationship, right? And he goes, and all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 years into it, right? She's getting all weird. He's like, what's wrong? She's like, well, where's this relationship headed? He said, well, I don't know. I like the way things are now. You have your own place. I have my own place. We're just chilling. And she's like, but what about our future? He goes, what do you mean? Are we ever going to get married? He goes, well, I don't know. And what does she say, guys?
No, I think I'm just emotional. Why don't you
Look at that, guys. Look at that. And guys, we all know the whole DV thing. Guys, women DV men more than men DV women, okay? Now, here we go. No-fault divorce is critical to the ability, particularly the ability of women, to be able to exercise autonomy in their own relationships and their own lives, says Denise Lieberman, an adjunct professor at Washington State University of Law in St. Louis, whose specialty in policies concerning gender, sexuality, and DV. Now, guys, you know this chick has nothing but cats, right? You know what I mean, guys? Look at this. Women are the only ones who talk about being independent in marriage, independent in relationships, having autonomy. Imagine if you heard guys that are married, yeah, man, I'm independent, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm married to my girl, I'm independent, I have autonomy. If a guy had 1 foot halfway at the marriage at all times, all the chicks would just call him a dog, right? Okay, so before 1969, when California Governor Ronald Reagan, who had been divorced, approved the country's first no-fault divorce law, so women who were more likely to experience violence from an intimate partner were often forced to stay in marriages. Now, guys, we know that this isn't true. And it's funny, these feminists go from, oh, emotional, mental abuse is just as bad as physical, right? When it's men to women, but when you actually show that women do emotional and mental abuse more, and that physical rates they also do more, all of a sudden they're quiet. If they could not prove that their husband had been DVing them or persuade them to grant a divorce, they would not be able to take any assets from the marriage, according to the study. So states around America gradually followed suit and passed similar laws allowing unilateral divorce until 2010, when New York became the last state to approve the practice. So between 1976 and 1985, states that passed the law saw their DV rates against men and women fall by 30%. The number of women deleted by intimate partner had declined by 10%, and female self-deletion rates declined by 8 to 16%. Without such laws, it's hard to prove anything in court relating to a family because you don't have any witnesses, says Kimberly Weil, a professor at the University of Baltimore, who probably also has cats, right? Say conservative commentators like Matt Walsh and Crowder have argued that the laws are unfair to men and hurt society because they lead to more divorces. So the Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio has also criticized the impact of divorce on U.S. society. The divorce rate in the United States increased significantly from 1960, when it was 9.2 per 1,000 married women, to 22.6 in 1980, but by 2022 the rate had fallen to 14.5%. On the increase in divorces, Vance said, "So one of the great tricks that I think that the sexual revolution pulled on the American populace is the idea that these marriages were fundamentally, they were maybe even violent, but perhaps they were unhappy. So getting rid of them, making it easier for people to shift spouses like they change underwear, that's going to make people happy." Facts. Guys, if you talk to any of these feminists about how people were married and reported being happier, they would say, oh, well, women might have been more married back then, but they were being DV'd all over the place. Clown world. Look at that. Look at that. Beverly Willett, a writer and attorney, argues that unilateral no-fault divorce is also unconstitutional because it violates a person's 14th Amendment right to due process. That's facts, guys. I never thought of that before. I never thought of that. The defendant in this case has absolutely no recourse to say, wait a minute, I don't want to be divorced, and I don't think that there are grounds for divorce. I would like to be heard. I would like to call witnesses, said Willett, who experienced a divorce that she didn't want because she thought her marriage could be saved. I believed in my vows, and I didn't want to give up. Uh-oh, there it is, guys. There it is. This chick was a woman whose husband left her, and she didn't want to let him get divorced. So this is what it takes for a woman to understand what men is going through, is when a man just up and leaves, right? But look at that. In the few cases, here's a woman who's one of the few that gets left. And she is actually saying, look, this is true, what men are saying. Look at that. Look at that. Man, oh man, oh man. And of course, whoever wrote this, which is a man, some man wrote this, some Eric Barra guy, right? Come on.
Beta!
He says, but Willett's arguments rely on the idea that women are either the property or that somehow men's liberty is restrained by not allowing them to stay in a marriage with someone who doesn't want to be married. What does that have to do with anything? Guys, marriage is a contract. Both groups signed a marriage contract, right? All no-fault divorce did is not make that contract binding in any way. All they're trying to say, like this Mary Willett says, if you're going to break this contract, we need to have legal process to say, look, can this person break their contract with me? And of course, this person deflects. Look at that. On the argument that no-fault divorce reduces domestic violence. So Willett points to data that most DV occurs between unmarried couples and says, so regardless, without any contract, any lawsuit, you will still have to follow the Constitution. Facts. Facts. Guys, I don't think that this is ever going to change. You know what I'm saying? But at least someone is trying to make a change. And guys, look, this person at the end says, hey, look, this probably won't happen, but hey, they said the same thing about overturning Roe v. Wade. So it is what it is. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you guys think that this will affect men getting married at any point? I mean, the amount of men who want to get married if they know that a woman just can't willy-nilly walk out on the contract. Do you think that it's just over and that men are just done getting married? So, all right, you guys, this is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. I'm out of here, guys. Take it easy.